Welcome to Bill and Jalen's NBA Playoffs Preview.
Jalen, Kevin Garnett, I think, is your age.
The big ticket.
Paul Pierce, you've known for like your entire life.
The truth.
Basketball circles.
When he got drafted, I was still spending time in LA, working out with the truth the year he got drafted. We even hopped a red eye to go to New York during the lockout.
Oh, yeah.
We were about to go to the meeting, leaving the hotel. We look up on the television in the lobby. The lockout and the impasse has ended. We're like, oh, okay, thanks a lot for telling us. We wouldn't have flew here for 6 hours.
Antoine Walker was on his 5th meal of the day when that happened. He's like, oh, God, I got to get in shape. So, and you also, Jason Kidd was in your draft.
Yes, he was.
That's the heart of this Brooklyn team, basically. Do we think they're a contender? Or do we think they are just lucky because they happen to be in the Eastern Conference?
They're a team that benefits from playing in a large market, so we're going to pay attention to their every move. Early in the season, one of the highest payrolls in NBA history, paying the highest luxury tax in NBA history, they're an underachieving team. They lose Brook Lopez. Jason Kidd seemed overwhelmed. You look up at the standings, they have a good month and a half, good 2 months. They're still 4th place, 5th place in the East. Kevin Garnett hasn't had an impact on this season.
Is he a keep getting them checks guy?
We got to watch it in the playoffs.
Wow, we have like a famous keep getting them checks first team this year.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with a roster.
It's an expensive one.
Yes. And so you sign Darren Williams to $98 million, and you actually become a better basketball team by taking the ball out of his hands.
That's probably a bad sign when you're $20 million a year point guard. Everybody agrees that it's better if he has no leadership responsibilities at all.
And also,
can you go over there?
They were supposed to be the 2 best players on the team, Lopez and
Lopez,
yeah. And so you flip the whole dynamic of the team, and you get the time to do it because you're in the East.
Well, you didn't mention the key thing that happened here. Paul Pierce, Lopez goes down. They have no choice. They have to play small ball. Paul Pierce goes to the power forward position, and the season kind of goes, and he plays really well for his age and his size. But as Doug Collins, our buddy, our countdown buddy, says, it kind of speaks to where the league's at, right? You have Paul Pierce in year 15, who's 6'7", who's played small forward and 2 guard his entire career, and now he's your power forward.
Or just lucky playing in the East. Let me name some power forwards that play in the West.
Okay.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Serge Ibaka. Tim Duncan.
Zebo.
He gets stuck guarding any of those guys, he gets punished.
Right.
To Doug's point. So I give the Nets credit for picking their season up and showing some positive momentum. Correct. No chance.
Yeah.
They're a team that should probably advance past the first round depending on the matchup, but no further than the second.
I think they're a fringe contender because they match up with Miami. They're not afraid of Miami.
They beat Miami 4 times this year.
They beat them repeatedly.
3 times by 1 point, 1 time in double OT. Wade missed, I think, 2 of those games.
And our buddy Doug Collins pointed this out. The first weekend we worked with him, we watched the Miami-Brooklyn game, and he became enchanted with all the big perimeter guys that Brooklyn has, and their guard like Sean Livingston, Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce, all these guys in the perimeter, and they could switch on every pick and roll. And he was like, "This really gives Miami trouble because you switch LeBron and whoever, and it's another 6'8" guy coming at him."
And the whole goal for that is to make Miami, in particular LeBron, a jump shot shooting team.
Yes, which they have been every Brooklyn game. And then on the other side, Joe Johnson, for whatever reason, has always had a decent history against Miami. Paul Pierce has never been afraid of him. And then Darren Williams, if they could ever get him going in that series, he should be able to outplay Mario Chalmers. Then you got KG in the middle. If he's not a keep getting them checks guy, if he's a rejuvenated, they rested me for the playoffs, I'm ready to lay the smack down. I don't think they could beat Miami, but I also don't think Miami would be looking forward to that series.
Miami has been to 3 straight Eastern Conference, NBA Finals.
Yes.
Nothing's going to be easy for them.
They've played 12 playoff series in the last 3 years.
The only thing that's going to be easy for them is if they get the Hawks in the first round. It won't be easy for them if they get the Knicks in the first round. It's going to be a tough road. They're trying to get Dwayne Wade back into the lineup. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their bigs. They resting Haslam, trying to figure out if Oden's going to fit, not fit, what kind of minutes you're going to get from Birdman. And back to the Nets. When people mention their team, they forget to mention this. Joe Johnson is the 2nd most productive shooting guard in the game.
Well, and he's also somebody in the last minute who becomes weirdly an assassin. It's one of the weird subplots of every NBA season is like, oh, there's 30 seconds left, they're down by 1. Watch, Joe Johnson's going to score right now. We should also mention another weird subplot. Billy King, who's really one of the worst GMs of the last 15 years, made a great draft pick. Mason Plumlee is like, that was an awful draft. And Mason Plumlee, I think, is a keeper and somebody who's been out there in big situations for them.
Well,
or is
he
it Miles?
fits.
Which Plumlee is it?
Well, he fits. It's Mason, I think. Mason or Miles. I wish their parents would adopt me. How you get so many
Jalen Plumlee?
kids in the league? That's awesome.
Do you like, if you had to pick, if you were holding both Plumlees off a cliff like the mom in Good Son, to save one for your team, which one would you drop?
If I had to use them to save my team, I'd probably drop both of them. To be honest with you. I like the block he did late against LeBron, and he has been a productive rookie, but let's frame this rookie class.
Horrible.
Okay.
Let's not frame it. Can we not frame it?
Above replacement. This is the second worst rookie class in the history of the NBA.
But at least that 2000, which is the #1 terrible rookie class, at least that class had Kenyon Martin and Jamal Crawford. Kenyon Martin made a couple All-Star teams.
Correct.
I really wonder if anyone from this rookie class will make an All-Star team. Because the best chance would be Michael Carter-Williams or Oladipo, but point guard is the deepest position in the league. I don't know at what point, though, either of those guys is going to be the 6th best point guard option. Oladipo might get shooting guard potentially.
And so Plumlee is playing quality minutes with KG out, with Karolinko being in and out, with Blotch, trying to struggle sometimes with inconsistency. They're a good team. They've become a solid story, not a true contender.
I agree with that. Last thing we should mention, Paul Pierce, who I think it took him 6 months to get over that Boston trade. And I don't think he really accepted that he was on another team till he came back to Boston, till they had the whole ceremony for him and KG, the emotion in the building. It was really a special night, and special night for him, special night for the Celtics franchise, the family that the Celtics franchise has become. And after that, not so coincidentally, he started playing well. And I really think there's a correlation with that.
I really do. He's happy to be with the Nets now. Don't be surprised if, and weird things happen in this league, I see Paul back with the Celtics in some capacity.
I do too. Because I don't know if it'll happen this summer or one summer from now. I do think at some point he'll be back. Boston's trying. We'll see what happens with the Nets.